my favorite thing. Also, for some reason, Twitch is telling me I'm not live yet, so... So I keep forgetting every time I open from that screen, I have to... There we go. Okay, I think I finally got my act together. There we go! There we go. Where are you? Oh god, sorry. Had to hear my own... I do not like hearing my own voice. Anyways, as you can tell, guys, I'm very tired. I'm not quite coherent. I'm not handling everything quite the way I normally would. So I'm sure that's going to translate into some very regrettable decisions. Forgive the crinkling wrapper. I am enjoying chocolate. Excuse me. I figure if I finish it now, I can actually give you some gameplay. So while I am enjoying confection, maybe we can do something a little different. Oops. Cringy Cat and Shanefit, thank you very much for the hosts, as always.
Scooter? Oh, chef, hey, you're on next. I know. I know. I know.
How you doing, T. Clark?
I don't know. Yabber, scare, door, scare, burp, mork, mork, mork. It's very hoor, the bird, the chicky cookie. Chicky, 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 woo. It's very bird, the egg to ship. Egg to ship. It's very the board, it's very the egg. You best bird? Or get there, making, there. It's for the egg. It's the egg. It's wounded. It's for the egg, the ping pong ball. It's for the mega board. It's for the egg. It's me. It's bird. Hey, bird. It's bird. First more. Right there, the egg dish up. We're going to chicky dish up. Yeah. It's bird, let's sneak out and have a...
All right. I needed a minute to set up, so I figured I would give you the Swedish Chef. Seemed appropriate. I hope that isn't too overpowering. So, what do we start off with? For those of you who are new to the playthrough, I think most of you are actually already. Where did I put my Spy Master, by the way? Not available until August. In Orkney to Scheme. Why is? Huh. So this is actually a pretty nice time to be a Scandinavian emperor. So we are playing Ulfr. We're 36. We have an heir. This era's ambitious. I believe they don't like me very much. Yeah, they're a rival, but I have a number of things that that sort of boost me, and I've got the okay. What I wanted to say at the start of this cast is this is actually one of the very few times I've had an objectively great start. So what we've done here with this ruler is currently the factions that potentially come up after me are very weak. The only person I really need to worry about is this character. Now they are a bit of a concern because they have 1,800 troops. So they're not a pushover, but as is always the case with how you doing, Cthulhu Clan? As is always the case with strong opponents like this, and especially because we've got such a large amount of prestige, we can sort of afford to have a rebellion. There's a few, like, basically, I know that if things get too bad, I'm going to be able to turn around and raise some extra levies. As far as my positions, you know, I've got the best physician that I can. My regent is my son, so sort of the succession is in line. I've got revoke and grant titles under my power, so even though my council... how you doing, DJ Cool Crusader? So even though I have... even though I'm still sort of dealing with Gavelkind succession, we've got sort of our master title in the form of the Empire. To sort of take us through. Now, I mean, if I could, I would love to switch to primogeniture and just be able to pass this position off onto my sons. But this isn't an option available to us right now. So what we need to say is, like, okay, we're in a fairly strong position right now. There's a couple things that we might be able to adjust, but generally, you know, 36 is getting up there, but not too old. I mean, our previous guy died at 47. Although Bolt 4 died at 67, so I suppose there's a couple of other things. So I suppose the question is, what are... I don't think I really talked last game about what I was going to be doing with the next few rounds, or the next little while. One of the natural extensions we might want to do is to just capture the last of Scandinavia. Which, as you can see, we've got sort of the 3 counties in the middle of our holdings. And then, you know, we need to take some of the Baltic states. We have obviously a big rival to our south in the form of Francia. So here, let's just take a look. So we unite Aquitaine if we... where is Aquitaine? Yeah, so we don't create too much division if we successfully assassinate the Franks. But yeah, so they are a little bit of a concern. Now, again, we have... I mean, so one nice thing is that they are actually fighting against the Muslim empires. So there's a little bit of a check on their power in the sense of some strong neighbors. We would basically be run over by these guys. I mean, obviously I've got enough prestige now that I would be able to hold my own, but I think the fact of the matter is that I don't have... You know, I have an empire, but I don't really have enough personal strength to be able to take on one of my large neighbors. So what we're going to do to take advantage of our... Also, these guys' decadence is absolutely obscene, so I suspect they're going to get rolled over by the Franks. But we'll see. So what what do we want to do when we're in a position where we're relatively strong, where our sort of our current problem of sort of putting out fires so far as so far as rebellion is concerned, this is a little bit less of a feature. I mean, obviously we do need to worry about these factions, but not immediately. And probably the most obvious thing for us to do is to consider this goal that we've had since the beginning, and basically the 100 years that we've been playing, which is to adopt feudalism. Now, we have a stone hill fort, we have absolute tribal organization, and the only condition that we're not meeting is not being an unreformed pagan. So we could do a few things here. Oh, this is really interesting. So I have the option of killing Refil. I don't think I want to, though. He was a problem before, but there's no reason to do this now. So we will cancel this plot. We should also consider selling off some so we can also get rid of some prisoners for money. Not quite giving away the ones with titles yet, though. Anyways, so we've got a little bit of income from that. We've already switched our focus to business focus. Now, this is mostly just to sort of refill the coffers after founding our empire. And I was talking about, so adopting feudalism, this will basically give me access to the remaining, it'll give me access to the remaining, how do you say it? The remaining succession types. Now, Johnny Big Time, thank you very much for that host, my friend. Is extremely detailed. In fact, I'd say the comparison between this and Civilization is the really any seeming similarity between the two is largely superficial. They're very much their own kind of they're very much their own games. I think this game is a little bit more about the relationship between the vassal and the lord. How you doing, Johnny Big Time? Well, I know exactly how you're doing, but I had a lot of fun watching your cast. I know it probably wasn't a lot of fun to play, but you actually you had a really good cast tonight. I hope you got well, I mean, I know you got the stuff on the computer parts, but I hope it wasn't too scattershot so as to not be useful to you. But please let me know if you have any questions about that. But yes, Cthulhu Clan. I mean, it's a very different kind of game. And one thing that's really nice about it is it's asymmetric in its design. I'm really sorry to hear that, Johnny, because it was like from the point of view of an audience member, it was actually a lot of fun to watch. And I certainly understand that the game was not kind to you, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. I never asked you what your budget was, but I actually think that is not a bad thing for whoever's going to be advising you on computer stuff. I don't think it's necessarily always a good idea that whoever you have for your like as an advisor on that kind of stuff, I don't think you always need to let them know how much you're willing to spend. Because, I mean, they'll sometimes just adjust to fit the budget, right? So, obviously I gave you the advice. what I tried to do was give you advice that would allow you to say, it's like, okay, well, I've got this much money set aside and I'm going to spend it no matter what. But also to give you an option saying, it's like, if you want to save a couple of bucks and maybe put it towards something else, this is what... Yeah, I mean, so the catch here, Johnny, is like, if you don't do the... And I'm sorry, guy, I know I'm supposed to... I should probably be talking about the game and talking about... also giving Johnny his shout-out, but... I didn't get a chance. I don't want to bug... I bug Johnny's cast with personal stuff a lot more than I really should. So it's my chance to catch up. But yeah, I mean, so the only thing that you're really missing out on, if you like, if you don't get the video card right away, is you you know, it's you just wait longer to get the new part, which, you know, sometimes, like when you have a cool new toy, you know, it's sometimes not that fun to have to wait. But I think, I mean, especially because, I mean, I'll admit, academically or intellectually, I sort of understand that processors are not as big of a deal as they used to be. At least as far as PCs are concerned. Like, yours is really old, and I would recommend upgrading it. But I think it would be very useful to you to see exactly how much of a bottleneck that processor was. El Canoe, thank you very much for the host. And then, you know, knowing what you know to move forward and say, it's like, okay, I also want to upgrade the card, or it's like, no, you know what, I have what I need for now, so we'll move forward. Anyways, guys, Johnny Big Time is here. Jess is in England, so I am stuck on my own. We have got Johnny Big Time in the chat. He is an outstanding caster. He had what I take for him was a very deflating cast, as you saw inside of chat, but I need to stress, he is a ton of fun to watch. XCOM was really, really challenging today for him, and he did an absolutely masterful job of still making it fun. It was pretty clear near the end that it was definitely starting to get to him, but even when the game is starting to get under his skin, he is one of the most entertaining casters you can watch. You know, I've known him for a little while now. I think he's one of the most consistent streamers in terms of being able to bring the fun. And whatever game he plays, in fact, a lot of games that I've wound up playing on cast are games that maybe I sort of started, I maybe pushed up a little bit, precisely because I was watching him playing it, and he made it seem like the most fun thing that I could be playing at the time. So Johnny Big Time is an exceptional caster. I definitely strongly recommend that you guys check him out. How you doing, Zodaside? And again, he's currently doing XCOM. He's getting close to the end, and then I believe he'll be doing Demon's Souls next. But whatever game he's playing, he is not one to be missed. And whether it is his personality that's coming across, or whether it is his skill in gameplay, he is somebody that I am always very happy to shout out, precisely because he is so good at what he does, and he is so consistent in the way that he casts. It's an incredibly, I think it's a very impressive feat, in my humble opinion. All right, we're still going to make this guy rot in our dungeons. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking some of these characters who either don't pose a threat to me, or who belong to other lords, and I'm basically just ransoming them off. It's a nice little way of getting some income. I was below 100, now I'm up to 147. By the way, guys, not to be outdone, we have got the excellent El Canoe in the chat. El Canoe is another guy who I've been watching for a while now for totally different reasons. I know we actually talked about this on his channel. He likes it when I say this, but I originally saw him because I was trying to get an opinion about whether or not Satellite Rain would be worth watching, or would be worth getting, because Satellite Rain looked really good. It was kind of like a modern take on Syndicate, and I believe actually some of the original team that made Syndicate was working on it. And I couldn't really, I mean, I took a look at a couple of the English casters, but I didn't get a very good idea of what was going on in the game. So I decided, you know, there was basically a French title in the list, like it, you know, the little tag that says FR, and it was, you know, I'm in Canada, and now I actually work in the government, so it's a bilingual country. It's good to, you know, it would be good, and it would certainly be helpful to my career if I knew both languages. If you want a management role, you have to be bilingual. And more importantly too, it's something that I've wanted to do, and French is actually a really interesting language, and there's writers that I'd like to read in French. You know, there's something about reading Victor Hugo and you know, or being able to read Henri Poincaré and not in translation, that I think would be really wonderful. So just sort of out of the blue, I gave El Canu a shot. I wanted to see what was going on, and out of all of the streamers, he was the one who made the game look fun. He gave a very clear idea of sort of what was going on in the game and why it was interesting. And it's actually, sometimes you need to be a streamer to sort of understand this. Satellite Rain is not an easy game to do that with, because Satellite Rain is in the wrong hands, it can actually look very slow and uninteresting. But El Canu was constantly talking, and he was, you know, he's sort of like, it's very clear he had an idea about what he was doing during that game. And as I found out, he's also got a tremendous sense of humor. And I think one of the most important things, and one of the things that I love shouting him out for, is that he has a true passion, a true love of gaming, and he communicates that through everything that he does, especially games that I'd never heard of before. He does such a good job of streaming them that, again, even though I know my audience is primarily English, by the way, just what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm turning these Vikings into raiders. I will show you, or well, this army into raiders, into Vikings, and I will explain why in a minute. But I gotta shout out the legendary El Canu. So again, he's an exceptional caster. He is somebody who, much like Johnny, just brings 100% to every cast that he does. He's a really gifted entertainer. And more importantly, like, he is probably, I mean, he's got an absolutely sinful Steam library. It is ridiculous how many games this man owns. But he would be an exceptional curator. Maybe he is, and I just haven't noticed. But he really knows what the right game to stream is. He knows how to show it in its best light. If I ever developed a game, I would want El Canu to stream it, because he is so good at just showing what makes a game good. He is not a shill. He's not going to just come out and say, it's like, oh, somebody gave me a key for this, so I'm gonna, you know, make this thing seem a lot more interesting than it actually is. But what he does do exceptionally well is find the fun in any game that he's playing. Even if he's playing a game that's a little bit weak in some things, he does a great job of communicating where the interest lies. And again, this is I'm speaking as somebody whose French is not very good. So the fact that he communicates all of this so well, despite my language barrier, I think is a testament to his talents. So again, if you guys haven't checked out El Canu, please do so. It would be a turn. And Johnny Big Time. I was going to say this about El Canu, but I think it counts just as well with Johnny Big Time. It is a tremendous favor to me as a streamer if you follow these people, because of course it means that my word means something. And it means that you're supporting people who have been very kind in supporting me along here. So I don't just say this because I'm a nice guy, but they have also been very, very good to this cast, and I owe them quite a bit. All right, let me just catch a quick a little bit of, so T. Clark says, argue if you're not getting a video card, wait away, that'd be worthwhile saving up for the best card available that is compatible with your current rig. This, with any luck, possibly future-proofing yourself for some upcoming games. Well, my view is that Johnny's video card actually isn't that bad, but his processor's quite old. So I think that's where the biggest gain will be found, and I think he will find that for most games that he wants to play, it'll be sufficient. And instead, the idea here is that, like, you can just push that out a little bit further, and in the end, you get either the same card for less or a better card for the same amount of money. Played a game that felt it was reading a book. The text was so much good. So Torment Tides of Numenaria is actually a remake of Planescape Torment. But yeah, Zodicide, I'm actually really interested in that game. I didn't think it was released. I thought it was still in an early access. I don't know where to ask for a key for it. But it's a little bit, it seems a little bit like Tyranny. And one thing I might actually do is play the original Torment just to show you guys what it's like. But it's definitely a game that I'm looking forward to, because they're the same guys who did Wasteland 2, and they did a really good job with that as well. So legendary for failing at killing Ornstein and Spo. This is the other thing I wanted to say about El Canu, is that much like Johnny, he got through a really frustrating playthrough, and I think one thing I really love about these guys is that they do a much better job than I do at handling frustrating moments during games. Actually, El Canu, I'm kind of glad you didn't get a chance, or at least I think you didn't get a chance to see me on the tough bosses, because it turns out that I actually beat them very quickly at the start of the cast. So it would have seemed a little bit, kind of boastful, I think, if you'd stopped by, but. The same thing will happen with you on Ornstein and Smell. You will manage it. We can. I was going to say, if we want, we can talk a little bit about your build as well. I don't know if you've upgraded your weapon, but I can tell you how you can do that, because that's just a game mechanics thing. But honestly, I don't think you need that. I think it's just a matter of playing Dark Souls the way that Dark Souls was designed, which is you get faced with a very difficult challenge, and you bang your head against it, and eventually you figure it out. And it was a delight. Here's another reason for you guys to check out El Canu. And I feel really bad that Johnny got like half the shout out that El Canu did, but I hold both casters in equal regard. It is Jesse Quill, El Canu, and Johnny are my three favorite streamers on Twitch. But El Canu, it was an absolute joy to watch El Canu progress through the Ornstein and Smough fight in Dark Souls, and to watch him learn is actually one of the things that I really enjoyed. Hey, Rambler! Guys, the Rambler 146 is a great, originally YouTuber, but I think he's doing a lot more Twitch stuff lately. He's been playing Hearts of Iron 4 the last couple of times that I caught him. He's a Total War streamer, usually, but again, has been doing Hearts of Iron 4, been doing a South American playthrough, dealing with the most appalling backseating that I've seen. I would have quit at that point, but he does a much better job of keeping calm than I do. If you guys like the strategy games that I play, definitely check him out. I think he does strategy games better than me, and he is one of these people who can actually make a living off of YouTube. He gets like invited to parties and stuff like that, whereas I just kind of get the occasional key. But Rambler's an outstanding guy, so. So Numenaria is almost finished. Okay, cool. Sorry, Zaz. I try not to follow too many things because, again, I'm trying to keep my budget in line. It's not fair, the Rambler, because I met you before I saw your stream, so. But no, guys, I mean it. If you guys, in terms of, so I like shouting out El Canu and Johnny because they, sorry, I'll just read this thing and move on with the gameplay, because I know some of you guys are actually here for Crusader Kings 2. Young Boldfur has finished his education in the ways of war. It is evident that he's excelled in his studies. So in addition to being a skilled tactician, he is cynical, chaste, patient, honest, and homosexual. Sorry, medieval Tinder with you. So say this pleases me. Let's find someone young who will cure him of his sinful ways. Not a lot of options here, actually. Not marrying him to... Oh god, these aren't my... Yeah, these are my sister. Oh god, I can make him marry my sister. I should actually probably marry those off. All right, you know what? I really don't care if this guy suffers some prestige loss. Let's marry off my sister. Oh, hang on. Siblings. There we go. Sorry I left you till you were 39 to get married. You can marry the... Oh god, no, no. I don't want to lose prestige. Oh right, I think I tried to do this and they were... Yeah, they're all like super low prestige for me. Alright, so why am I doing this... Why am I doing this trip? Well, basically it's to get the moral authority for the Germanic faith up. So I want to get it up by 11, specifically so I can, basically I need to get the moral authority up to 50%. That will allow me to reform the Germanic faith. So I know I've read this out before, but especially because it took me such a long time to get started, it doesn't hurt to restart everything, or to sort of restate everything. Reforming the Germanic faith will turn it into an organized religion with a religious head. Unless you control all of the holy sites, doing so requires 50% moral authority and control of 3 Germanic holy sites. It will cost you 750 piety. Rulers of a reformed pagan religion can use the holy war casus belli to get access to most succession laws, no longer suffer prestige loss while at peace, and will have less trouble with independent-minded vassals. However, they also lose the defensive supply limit penalty for religious enemies in their territory, and vassals will get upset if you have their levies raised for too long for no good reason. So it makes us a little bit more like the Christians. Right, so marriage has happened. So what we're going to be doing here is, in addition to filling our coffers, we're actually going to be raiding, and we're going to be burning as many Christian churches as we can to raise our moral authority. And again, one of the reasons I can do this is because I don't have any major factions which are plotting against me. So, looks like there's slowly some numbers coming up. Let's start an assassination attempt on this guy, just in case he starts getting a little too uppity. Yeah, what we're basically going to be doing, we're very strong relative to these realms. So what we can basically do is just take a bunch of Vikings, we can loot and pillage all that we like, and there's not a whole lot that they can do about it. So, Rambler, I was originally playing as this county Selzig in what eventually became Denmark. We, of course, went from a count to a duke to the king of Denmark, and because we've got some vassals which will eventually distribute some titles to, or some children that will eventually distribute some titles to, I opted to create the Empire of Scandinavia. So in order to gain access to those succession laws, which will allow me to sort of consolidate my power even more, we're going to be burning down some churches to accomplish. When I introduced my friend to Gorm, I had high hopes. I hoped that they would become fast friends so we could spend time together, the 3 of us. Gorm and my friend had a great time together, and I have gained 5 prestige. Alright, so the Queen of Pictland has only 613 troops, and the Chief of Kate only has 700 troops. Now, I don't believe I will be able to... Yeah. So for whatever reason, I can't invite them to become a vassal. We are, however, clobbering them. So what I'm basically going to do here is I'm going to cut this this stack in half. My co-conspirator Godi 7 of Alphantes has let me know that Jarl Sigtrig of Austlander will die by poisoned wine at an upcoming banquet. So this was the plot. As you can see, a lot of people hate this guy, so we were able to get a pretty quick plot out of the way. So, classic. An old wound is aggravating and painful. May Frey have mercy on me. So I've got an infection, which is not so good for me. My demand just became too big because of the sort of the negative to my stats. Hopefully, though, I get cured of it, and we don't need to worry about the consequences. So basically, what we're doing here, this is going to cost me some money. It costs about 5 gold a turn to, or wealth a turn to have the ships and the raiders up. So it's one of these, you know, you have to spend money to make money sort of situations. Doesn't like me, so I will let him rot. So basically what I'm doing here is I am... Oh, god damn it! I have a new heir. If my character dies, I will now play as King Boltfer II. Alright. So this is going to be a bit of a problem because I no longer have the option of raising these levies, and I just lost a lot of my titles. So we're going to have to be careful about this. Emperor Ulfr feasts in Valhalla at age 36. He died of an infected wound, ever temperate. He never let his base urges get the better of him. A godly man, Ulfr is with Tyr now. So be it. So again, spend money to make money. We are still focusing on sort of raising our power. We're sort of focused on getting this moral authority up, and we're focused on trying to get some money. But unfortunately, I just had to give up a whole bunch of titles. My brother Boltfer has chosen independence from my rule. Oh my god. So apparently... Huh. I did not know that... I did not know that they could choose independence even though they were beneath your title. That's really interesting. That must have changed as well. Uh-oh. Game? Oh, hang on. Oh, alright then. Apparently, I didn't die. Sorry about that, guys. So that does mean we lost some progress. Alright, well, we'll get the boats back. Yeah, so that's actually something I'm going to have to contend with, because presumably my character will die soon anyway. I mean, there isn't exactly anything I can do differently to change the fact that... I mean, I'm not going to be able to get my moral authority up by 11 in time for this guy to die of his infected wound. But I suppose I can sort of plan for it. I mean, I guess the thing to do is to find the lines of succession and try and kill them as quickly as possible. I do still hate this guy, so let's deal with this plot. I'm doing that mostly just to keep the plot from causing difficulty. And similar idea here.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Hey Chalk Akadak here. Just wanted to say I like your stream and stuff.
Endors? I haven't seen you in chat yet. Are you here? Okay. Boltfur has all grown up. I'm still gonna marry him off to a low prestige High Chief. There you are, Endors. Thank you so much for that donation. I really appreciate it. How you doing? It's good to see you again, especially bearing money. All right, sorry guys. This is it's occurred to me we're about like 40 minutes into the game and we haven't really accomplished anything. But the plan is still the same. So all that effort I put into making Scandinavia turns out to have been my co-conspirator Godi Skuli has assembled a party of mercenaries who will ambush Jarl Sigtrig disguised as highwaymen, and I am assured that he will not survive the encounter. The roads just aren't safe anymore. So the plan is, again, burn as many churches as we can, take as much loot. Originally the idea was that Scandinavia would keep the kingdom intact. This is no longer the case, and so what I'm probably going to have to do is assassinate or otherwise sort of attack my way to victory. And I can't split these guys up, so we're just going to head up. Oh, you know what? I didn't list them as a looter. That was very dumb of me. I hope I can do that when I'm on the island. Not a problem at all, Rambler. It was, this is a slow start, and I'll admit, I was very tired. I almost fell asleep during Johnny's cast just because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm a little listless, as I think is probably apparent from the commentary. Alright, here we go. Now we're ready to loot. But we'll make up for it. Like I said, this is a really good start. Success. The mercenaries ambushed the carriage of Jarl Stigrig and made short work of him. They let the driver go, and he is convinced that the attack was carried out by highwaymen. This means the faction should fall apart. I just killed my marshal. That's an absolutely fantastic audio cue, by the way. Alright. So I've got a big, powerful vassal who's very good at combat and wants a position. He still doesn't like me. But at least he's not ready to completely murder me, so... Let's see if we can give him... So gift, it's closer. Let's make him the standard bearer. So it's only a -4 that he dislikes me by now. Jesse Quill, thank you very much for that host. Are you awake at this hour? Anyway, so like I said, the aim right now is to raise our moral authority. We raise the moral authority through sacking churches. We're going to deal with this faction right away. I believe my diplomat is already working on this. Yeah. I'm also curious if my list of prisoners was dealt with. Alright, I just want to slightly adjust my commanders. So the one that's moving forward, I want to put sort of my best guys up front. Looks like I've only got 3 options now, so... and again, we take advantage of the... There's just no pleasing some people. Alright, well I might have a rebellion to deal with, but I am still going to... I'm still going to do as much as I can to raise the moral authority. And in this case, this is just a matter of taking My heir has not lost any time and is busy bringing out babies, which is good. So again, we're gonna loot as much as we can. You'll notice this red icon here. What this basically means is that we've run out of the easy to loot stuff. We are gonna get more though, because we're gonna siege down these holdings and loot them. So another key thing is that we're keeping the boat in range to actually collect all the money. I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. I think when I move into here, I probably need to like carry it and well, actually I could split the fleet. I'll split it when the time comes. But yeah, basically we're loading up the ships. You'll see that it's got a capacity for 3,600 gold. So you can go raiding for a really long time if you want. But in reality, you probably finish it a little bit faster because, of course, my liege, the diligent Emperor Ulfir, it has not escaped me that several of your commanders lack formal training in military tactics. I would like to offer my services to by training Borgfard, Hakon, and Budli in the use of advanced battlefield stratagems. A most generous offer I will owe him. Or no, he's just trying to gain leverage. I actually like the idea of training my my troops, so I'm okay with the favor, although this could come back to bite me, of course. So Zoticide, basically what Moral Authority does, it has a couple of roles. So first of all, it sort of represents the effectiveness of the religion. So the lower your moral authority, the more likely you are to see heresy, which is one thing we're running into on our Scottish holdings. Christian heretics are coming up and raising their arms in rebellion. And the other thing that it does, though, for the purposes of the Germanic faith, once you get to 50% and you hold 3 holy sites, which I do, you can reform the faith so that you're no longer sort of these rampaging tribes, but rather you're an established religion and you start, you know, having castles and you can sort of adopt feudalism or a merchant republic. So it's in this case there's 2 things that moral authority is doing. The pillaging and looting undertaken in your name has earned you a reputation as a fearsome Viking raider. Along the coasts, mothers tucking their children in at night warn that unless they behave, the terrible Ulfir, scourge of the seas, will come ashore with his undead warriors and eat them. I like the sound of that. My reputation as a Viking will give me 0.3 prestige a month, +1 to martial, +1 to personal combat skill. Other Vikings will like me +5, and people who are of the Germanic faith will like me +15. To get people to trust and follow me over my churches, I do not believe it does Zoticide. Although I will admit, out of all of the mechanics in the game, it is the one I know the least. How you doing, Melee Mage? No necromancy yet. The old wound has finally healed, leaving a pretty grotesque scar behind. Ew. So it seems like... I was never sure about this, so I always thought the game was a little deterministic on this stuff. So, by the way, guys, Melee Mage is another streamer. He's been doing a lot of Atlas Reactor lately, although I noticed the last 2 times I saw him, he was doing creative casts. He's a little bit of a smaller streamer, but he's based in Vancouver, so a lot of you guys who watched me in my old time zone will probably enjoy him. And again, he's a very dear friend of the cast, so it's always good to see him here. By the way, guys, I think, if I'm not mistaken, normally Jesse Quill is the most sort of senior viewer in the channel, but I believe because we have Endors in the channel, I believe Endors is actually the most senior. Let's actually take a quick look at the following list. I'm kind of curious on this list myself. I'm pretty sure actually Endors, you may, I don't know if you got to me before Jesse Quill. You might have, because I know you came in during Gods Will Be Watching. But now I'm a little curious, so... My god, there's a lot of you. Thank you guys, by the way, for the follows, so... I guess I can slowdown time at least. So anyways, as I was saying, I thought the game was a little more deterministic than this. So it turns out that in this parallel universe, I don't die. Or at least I'll die from other causes. This was a mistake to try and scroll down this list. But I'm committed now. God, there's some people I know who hate me in here and still following. Good for me. Did you ask that, Zodicide, because it was a, oh god, what's the company's name? Tryon game? I played Rift. I haven't tried, I have not tried Defiance yet, though. It looks good, although I don't watch the TV series, so I don't know if it would be lost on me or not. Again, all that we're doing here is just continuing the raid so that we can... And one thing that I'm doing here is I'm just looting, which is good. But the other thing is I want to make sure that I'm working it all the way down to the bishopric, because that's what's ultimately going to get me the moral authority. We'll see an example of this soon. So currently we've got 33 in wealth, which is already doing well. It's a cool concept, but got bored after playing it for a month. Yeah, you know, this is one thing that I've learned a lot, especially after playing some more games through doing streaming. This is one thing that's actually a really interesting sort of side effect of the hobby is I've actually wound up playing a few more games than I normally would have. So I've kind of begun to appreciate that not every high concept necessarily translates to a successful game. Like sometimes it's okay to just have a game which is really good at doing something normal. I don't know, like I guess you don't, like, not everything needs to be, I don't think everything needs to be sort of this, for lack of a better term, like, obviously novel. Like, it's a little bit like trying to do some kind of, I think it's, I don't know, doing some kind of art or something like that. And instead of just doing a very competent execution of a, you know, of something that is meaningful, you go for, I'm sorry guys, I can't, while I'm in the game, I can't actually scroll down, so I have a feeling that Endors might actually be the more senior member of the chat. But yeah, so I think there's a lot to be said for not necessarily just innovating at a surface level, but rather just making sure that the mechanics are down. Or maybe I'm just talking nonsense. I'm starting to think that Zadisla might fancy me. Oh, you know, 25, husband died of plague, misguided warrior, gregarious, patient, zealous. Make a move. All right. So apparently, she's doing something naughty. She wants to kill my nephew. Well, I bet my nephew doesn't like me, so... I went to her chamber and gave her a good tumble. It's good to be the emperor. Alright. There we go. So, Bishopric is in flames. We've taken everything that we can from this area, so we're going to move on to the next one. Let's take a look and see what happened to our moral authority. Now it's up to 40. So, we've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically we'll make sure that we raid at least up to here. Obviously this will take a while. But you can also see that when we raid these bishoprics, you get a lot of money. 42 is a pretty respectable amount. So here we're going to split up the fleet. We're going to take our guys over to these islands, and we're going to work on burning down some more churches. I haven't been paying too much attention to these things. I know there's a way that you can sort of clear them all at once. I don't necessarily like doing that. And it's mostly just because you know what? Let's upgrade our heavy infantry. It's mostly just because I sort of know to look, if there's like a particular name that comes up, I know sort of to be on the lookout. But in general, this is getting worrisome. In general, I can sort of safely ignore this stuff. So as far as looting is concerned, these guys are going to move up here. Now, this is still in sort of the same region, so as long as I keep a ship here, it'll be fine. And the one thing that you want to be careful about is, again, like I said, you have to spend money to make money. You want to make sure that you have enough to sort of bankroll the raids, because it is going to take, you're going to have to wait until you move back to your territory to actually, collect your loot. But again, we're not necessarily doing this for the money. We're doing this more so for the glory of Odin or whoever the hell we're interested in. Okay, for too long you've restricted the political influence of your vassals. The time has come to give the council more power. Submit to this demand peacefully or face the consequences. Rest assured that I have gathered others who are equally upset. So I can either deal with a title revocation committee, or I can say I will not be blackmailed, and we plunge the realm into another war. And I will say we will not be blackmailed because we don't give in to terrorists. Don't negotiate with terrorists. Alright, so we're going to try something new here. We're going to call our allies to war. Oh, nope, can't afford that. So the question is, do I want to bring my guys back home, or do I want to raise a tribal army? Now, normally I don't like doing this, but I am actually going to raise a tribal army in this case. It's 500 prestige. It's not ideal. But it's going to give me a little bit of an edge with my allies. And the good news is, with that vassal, I no longer owe them the favor. The drawback is, of course, that with all of my best generals raiding in the in Scotland, this army isn't quite as strong as it seems. But I think what I'll do, so the strategy I'm going to employ for this war is I'm going to clobber this larger army here, which we did quite handily. And I'm basically going to force the issue with them. So I'm actually going to siege down all these territories, and then we'll move on to their capital. This will be particularly painful for this guy to lose. And I'd actually be tempted to, I would be tempted to try maybe somewhere else. I'd be tempted to maybe go there right away, but the fact that we can claim so much territory just gobbling these individual areas up is a little too much to pass up, so. looks like so apparently when I sent my goatee there to try and spread the good word, the peasants attacked him. But hopefully with some continued encouragement on our part, the Christians will come under heel. Alright, so I want to keep an eye on this kind of stuff, right? So there's 744, 446. So as you can see, if these guys unite, all of a sudden it's a fair fight and I don't have a strong general. So we'll see what they do with these guys. I can always head north. Oh, looks like they're already on their way to uniting. So we're going to anticipate the problem. Uh-oh. Oh, these are other raiders. And apparently he just got 3,000 guys. So I may actually have to bring some of my guys back home, or I may need to raise another tribal army. My wife just asked me if I'm having an affair, and her stony expression does not reveal whether she knows or is only guessing. Well, she doesn't like me, so lie to her face. This actually worries me, and I want to know where these troops came from. Event spawn, so he spent some prestige as well. So the other thing I'm going to do here is we're actually going to slightly adjust the strategy. We're going to we'll sort of whittle away. Again, they've got sort of more immediate territory for us to take. If we lose these counties, it's not a big deal for us. If they lose these, this is basically everything for them, right? We've already taken these territories. We've taken somebody. Oh, hello. I didn't know I had troops here. Every little bit helps. Actually, this will be particularly nice. So I'm actually curious. So it didn't tell of any kind of consequence. -36 suspected adultery. She doesn't have evidence. As you are out hunting one afternoon, a bearded elder approaches donning a simpler traveler's cloak and a wide-brimmed hat that conceals his other eye. He greets you with courtesy, requests a horn of mead, and informs you that just yonder a well lies forgotten, filled with gold. He wanders off, chuckling as he goes, leaving you struck with the familiarity of his presence. Inform your men that the wanderer was none other than Odin. Gain 50 gold, 50 prestige. I gain the trait Zealous, and urge my horse forth to seek God's treasure with your fellow hunters in pursuit. Ignores the men's insistence that the stranger was the Aldfather, and scold my men for believing in the gods. Of course we'll say that it was Odin. My lord, there's a noble warrior at the gate. He says he is a veteran of many battles and desires to become a champion of your house. He praises your wisdom and honor and pledges to always defend you and your household if you will accept him into your retinue. Welcome. So again, we want to see where these guys are going because we can't take them on right now. If our allies would hang out here, I'd be okay. But I think they are... It looks like they're actually moving straight on. Yep, they're moving straight towards me. So let's see if we can make something of this. So what we want to do here is take advantage of sort of a positional advantage if they have to cross the river to attack us here. My steward tells me that is... Oh, this is excellent. So my steward was praising my name. We just got 1,600 more troops, which means that we're going to be able to take these guys on. It looks like they sort of see the writings on the wall. So we're going to... Why is this number not as high as it should be? We are now going to get our asses kicked. Oh, no, we got 3,600. We're good. But yeah, so basically my steward was busy talking about what an incredible Viking I was, and we got a chance to raise some more troops in my name, thus saving me the trouble of having to raid my enemies. Alright, so it looks like we've successfully burned down that church. Again, it's getting a little tricky to see who I've pillaged and who I haven't. I want to be careful about some of this stuff. Like, obviously we're not out of the woods until this rebellion is crushed, but we're in fairly decent shape so far as the main force is concerned. So, for instance, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be sieging down the rest of their territories. They're going to have to make a move on us, so they can try and just whittle down these territories. In that case, I win just because we're able to capture more territory than them quicker. If they instead want to go crashing into my guys here, well, we've got 2,800. So we beat them in basically a fair fight. Or an unfair fight, as the case may be. Pablo Preacher, thank you very much for the follow. Like I said, I was quite tired tonight. I got a late start, and I didn't sleep very well last night, so I appreciate the vote of confidence, even though I may be not on my A game. By the way, notice how I was talking about how we were having I woke up this morning and realized that I have lost my feelings for my lover. Such is life, I should tell her. We were talking about what a good start this would be. Let's teach him struggle. And it's since blown up, so... Hey, Dankopotamus, how you doing? Does my wife like me? Nope. My liege, heathens attacked me when I tried to spread the holy faith in Feyre. I barely escaped with my life and now severely wounded. Again? Get good, Goaty. Alright, so... I took a big hit to... it's because they recaptured this. So I took a big hit to my war score because they successfully recaptured this. It won't be too troublesome because we've got some more territory here. I think what I'll do is I'll move up. We'll finish the siege and then we'll take their big 22 stack. We are going to cross a river for it, but again we've got numbers on our side, so... Ooh, actually we've got... I don't think I really want these generals to... Yeah. Wasting resources. It's a little tricky to keep track of all of this, so... Our moral authority is slowly creeping up. I'm alright, Dankopotamus. Like I said, I'm quite tired tonight. Just lack of sleep last night. But... I'm having a good time with this playthrough. It's interesting. I mean, it kind of sucks that this happened, because I think the most interesting moments of Crusader Kings 2 are when you have to get yourself out of a tough situation. So this character actually died, but I don't quite know what happened. Like, the game, I will admit, so like the game is pretty stable. I think I've only had a crash like 1 or 2 times on cast. I crash a little bit more off cast, but I also notice that that's when I'm like playing on the laptop and I'm like alt-tabbing out, and sometimes I think, oh, you know what? I actually installed a Total War game, and I noticed there seems to be a bit of a problem with my computer where like my memory gets chewed up. It's almost like a memory leak whenever I install a big game. So I'm wondering if that caused it. That might mean that I crash again tonight, but the only way I fix it is by resetting, and I'd rather not stop the cast. But yeah, so I guess technically I don't know if we cheated or the game cheated, but basically I had a wound which now became scarred rather than killing me. And yeah, I guess again, we're still fairly young at 38, getting a few gray hairs in the beard, but the plan here is to bring our moral authority up to 50 in order to sort of reform the faith and adopt feudalism. Anyways, my bastard child is playful, affectionate, and an idolizer. All sort of... So I think diplomatic would be the best one here. I mean, she's already got an advantage towards it, and it's... In this case, like, we've got affectionate is a good trait, whereas playful and idolizer are just sort of neutral, so... Plus, again, she's a bastard, so she's gonna have to use something else to get ahead. Total War Warhammer. Dankopotamus. I've been playing a bit of Empire, which is good. I will admit, it's actually been difficult for me to get into the Total War series. Alex the Rambler has been doing a good job of it. Young Morag has finished her education in the ways of intrigue. I notice with pride that she has attained nothing less than a masterful level of knowledge. Can I ransom her? Nope. Has no interest. Well, sorry, lady. But yeah, so I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just, it's not been something I've quite been able to get into. One of the things that I like about Crusader Kings is that I think the level of abstraction is right for me. So I like the fact that this is a game about sort of political relationships rather than necessarily being about sort of the combat elements. Not that I think that's a bad feature, it's just I find I'm more interested in the things that I'm more interested in the things that Crusader Kings offers. You know what? I don't think I'm spending any more for these troops, so let's add to the raid. Oh, I can't turn them into looters. That's a shame. All right. New unit. So if I don't want to disband this regiment in case it's... Yeah, okay, so it seems like these guys I can send on the raid. That's so bizarre. So apparently I can turn these guys into raiders too. I wonder if that's a bug. Unfortunately, you can't get the Humble Monthly for Total War Warhammer. Card needs work, and you're looking at about $350 going into that. I'm sorry to hear that, T. Clark. So, I mean, here's the thing to remember, right? The Total War games do go down in price. It's a little bit like Crusader Kings, right? Like, if you want to play the game out of the gate, you pay up. And if you don't, then it's just a waiting game, right? So I wouldn't... I mean, I guess it depends what you're looking for, right? Like, again, I've got more Total War games that I haven't played than I've played. So to me, I don't feel the same sort of... during the last few days, my son, Jarl Frederick, has not been able to keep any food or drink down. It seems as if he's suffering from food poisoning. Pray to Odin that he will recover. Ah, damn it. Okay, looks like we lost the levy. That is a decidedly less impressive army. But yeah, so like for me, whether it's Crusader Kings or whether it's Total War, I mean, especially with the DLC, like I don't plan on buying any of the Total War DLC. Just because it'd be a waste in my case. Like there's just simply no time to be able to play all of this stuff all at once. I am really sorry to hear about the car though. Ooh. Let's just put this into port. There we go. A fleet full of loot has returned from raiding. Emperor Ulfir of Scandinavia gains 178.61 gold and 178.61 prestige. The recent influx of looted treasure has encouraged buying and investment in Selvig, which in turn has attracted more warriors who are hungry for gold. Good news all around. The crooked Jarl Heigl of Auslander has called it in a favor. The favor you owe him in order to force you to pardon him of all his devious crimes. You will no longer be able to take hostile actions against him without looking like a tyrant in the eyes of your realm. Forgive and forget. Which reminds me I've got some council positions to fill out. Okay, so looks like... Actually, I don't believe that there isn't a powerful vassal who wants this job, so... Just gonna give it a little bit of time. Does he like me? He does. Can I revoke a title off of him? I can. So my domain is too big, but I can just toss that off to a family member, so... Although I don't... Let's go to the furthest ends of the tree. So I know this is always a part that causes a little bit of angst as far as... Oh, kinswoman. So Raphael is of my bloodline. Yeah, we'll grant the landed title here. So, what did I steal? Agder. Actually, we're going to do this a couple of times. So now that I know that I've got some... So there's two things that I want to be careful about here, which is one, I want to make sure that, you know, I can in fact take these titles from these characters. And two, I want to make sure that I have a family member that I can pass that on to. So let's go back to my prisons. Let's see... who I can take some titles from. So again, this guy's a lowly count, Mepelpad. He's a traitor. Congratulations. So the idea here is that I'm just basically putting family members in all of these titles. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the playthrough, and it's the reason why I took the ability to revoke titles and to grant titles, and it's why I fought that war to prevent the loss of that ability, because it's a particularly strong way to shape... Actually, you know what? My thoughts on For Honor. Dankopotamus, I've not played it. I don't own it. It looks interesting. And I've actually done... So in Vancouver, there was a place called Academy Duello, which did actually Western martial arts. So it did... it actually did... Alright, so one goes here, one goes here. Yeah, so these are already going to get assigned the way I'd want them. I'm also trying to be kind of cheap with the titles, so... so it'd actually be really interesting to try a game that tries and captures some of the old fighting styles. But I have not, I've not played it myself. Just, again, there's lots of games to play, and I haven't taken the plunge myself. One streamer who has been doing it, though, and I actually think has done a really good job of it, is Kite. So, and Johnny Big Time actually plays it as well. Again, he's quite good at it, so. Jesse Quill, how are you doing? It must be very late where you are. Okay, so Raphael has 2 titles. So one goes to Toke. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else that I can send these. It's 3:30 a.m. What are you doing? You look gorgeous as always, but the last photo I saw of you, you looked about as tired as I felt. But guys, as is the tradition, Jessie Quill is my mod. She is part of that holy trinity of Twitch. El Canoe, Jessie Quill, Johnny Big Time. She is a very dear friend of mine. She is an incredibly talented caster, probably the biggest follower list of the people I know. And it's very easy to see why. She does a really great job with story-based games. She's playing Dishonored 2 recently, and I think she did... so why can't I... Okay. We took his title, so we'll put him up in a good spot. She did a really wonderful job with that game, with Dishonored 2, in my view. And every time that she does a story-based game, I think she does a really good job of sort of communicating the themes and talking about sort of why the game is interesting. And I think more importantly too, whenever I talk with her about any life stuff really, she does a very good job of sort of bringing her educational background to bear on the issue. And it's always really rewarding to hear her thoughts on these kinds of things. So I always like the opportunity to talk with her. I always like the opportunity to I don't know, to hear more about. Oh, I did something tyrannical. I probably wasn't paying attention when I revoked that title, actually. Well, what do my vassals think of me? Well, all the powerful ones are in prison. Yeah, a lot of people still like me, actually. Yeah, Jessie Quill really does an outstanding job, I think, with individual people. She does an outstanding job as a caster. There's a lot of really great reasons to follow her and to see, of course I'm going to put my son on the council. Oh my god, I can get away with anything I want now. This is actually really big. I'll explain what just happened here. But she's really somebody I value quite a bit, and it's always nice to sort of talk with her privately, just because she always has kind of a perspective that's worth hearing on some of these issues. And if you guys want to see what that's like, I mean, it's not that I sort of have private access in the fact that we've been talking in private. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to do something to to raise my profile. If you guys want to see what I'm talking about, you need only check out her cast, which I will actually link inside here right now. All of these things are on display, and it's always in some ways, it's kind of funny. I've seen so many people just completely pass it by and miss it, either in her cast or in her tweets. There's so many people who are willing to correct the record where it's completely unnecessary to do so. And she handles it with quite a bit more grace than I do. So again, a lot of very admirable personality traits. And I consider myself very lucky to count her as a friend. Again, just trying to raise a little bit of money from getting rid of some of these prisoners. There's no need to, so if they don't present a threat to me, and if they're not like powerful vassals that are going to want a council position or something like that, I don't have to worry about the consequences. So just more shy to rock the boat than me. Well, that makes us a good team then, because I have no such qualms. So why was I excited about what I saw in the council? I've got 3 loyalists, so these are people who will do anything that I want them to do. Now, notice how many council positions, right? There's 7. So I get a vote and there's 7 councillors. This means that I have a majority. I can pass any law that I want, and there's no debate, basically. Now, one of these guys could die, they could dislike me, so I want to make sure that I don't squander it. But basically, I should take a look. So I don't think our tolerance is enough to raise the status of women. The obligations are where I want it to be, so probably what we'll wind up doing is giving myself more power. I think where I should do war declaration is the next one I should go for. But that won't be available for another 2 years, so we'll see what happens there. Yes, but it will actually take a very long time for that to happen, Jesse Quill, so I wouldn't hold my breath. I am, however, going to demonstrate how it's... Oh, god damn it. I just lost my son. Well, let's find another. Wrigglefur! Yay, we've got another loyalist on the council. That almost went bad. Oh, and I can appoint a new commander. Oh, can I ever? And I think I can fire one of these hacks. I could also appoint a new spy master, but I don't like the idea of somebody who dislikes me in that spy master role. God, there's a lot of cancer in my realm. Alright, so I'm going to commission a runestone, because it's a man's world. You've decided to commission and raise a grand runestone for future generations to gaze upon. What should be carved into it? Let it speak of me? Let it stand in memory of King Boltfer, my departed father? Or it shall stand in the memory of Igna, my beloved mother? Of course it'll speak of me. The artisans who will carve and paint the runestone are asking for instructions. Which of your qualities should it speak of? Oh, there's not much to say. This opinion is available because you have the humble trait. My strong bonds to Odin. This option is available because you have the zealous trait. The craftsmen start the process of carving and painting the runestone. My harsh but necessary actions. This option is available because I have the cruel trait. I love the idea of commissioning this monument to stand the test of time to my humility. It's like wearing a badge for being humble, so they take it away. I will speak of my strong bonds to Odin because I saw him. So again, burning down churches, getting our moral authority up. The usual. My loyal vassal has sent me a courier with an offer. He's willing to make a significant donation to my war chest, but in return I must promise to return the favor in the future. A most generous offer. So I can get 200 gold, which is particularly helpful. What is Horicare? So he isn't actually on my council, so yeah. I'll take your money. Oh, sorry, Jess, I didn't know you wanted that one. I've got a statue for being Viking pious. The stone is raised. The runestone you commissioned has been finished and raised on the spot you chose for it. You examine the runes. Ulfr, son of Boltfur and Igna, ordered this stone raised in honor of the gods. No one was more devoted to Odin, and no one more deserving of a place in Valhalla. These runes were carved by Grim and painted by Borkvard. You leave the stone, content in the knowledge that many centuries from now, when its paint has long since faded, scholars will be studying these rune carvings in an effort to glean the wisdom of their words. It's perfect. Gain 200 prestige, 100 piety. My monthly piety goes up by 0.5 a month. My diplomacy is up by 2, and the general opinion of me is up by 10. Fleet bearing some loot is returned from raiding. 1 gold and 1.3 prestige. Not too worried about that. Oh, damn it. I brought the troops with me. I'm just going to add them to the raid. Oh, and apparently I need to make a new regent, so... Who is my eldest son? Kjellmund. Oh, and he doesn't like me. Oh, damn it. No, he's the ambitious guy. So again, I want to try and keep stuff from going off the rails if I can. You know what? I've never held a great blot before. What does it cost me? So it'll cost me 50 gold. Hold a great blot together with your vassals. Offer sacrifices to the guard. Good harvests and success on the battlefield. This can be done every 9th year. Yeah, let's do it. You've sent out summons to all your vassals for the blot. Those who have been baptized or profess to follow the teachings of the prophet will have to offer gold to be exempted from this magnificent feast. I can hardly wait. Jarl Hakon, your vassal, is stubborn in his ways and speaks only of the mercy of Jesus, but he has wisely decided to offer you some gold to be exempted from the blot. As well he should. 20 gold. All right. Europe, a preacher in the service of King Kunu of Alba, has arrived in Selvig to spread the gospel of their foreign religion. He has little regard for our old faith, declaring it sinful. He's explained in detail the horrors that we shall suffer in the afterlife unless we mend our ways. Now, what I love about this is this guy has been blinded, which means he's probably already been... he's been preaching the good word in the wrong place, so... There are horrors to suffer in this life as well, friend. So I've imprisoned him. Ransom him, and I get 10 gold. As funny as it would have been to, like, maim him or something like that, I don't think there was an option, so... Alright, Sigrid. Again, she is a woman, so let's teach her etiquette. Okay, set the church on fire, so we will move on to our next conquest. And again, moral authority slowly creeping up. We do have a lot of work ahead of us in terms of getting this stuff done right. To the wussy mule Ulfir, may your years be short and miserable. I accept paying your ransom for the safe return of Europe. Says the guy with 391. Man, you better be careful I don't roll over and crush you. Your guests have arrived, and the time has come for the blot to begin. You gather outside the temple and start by offering animals as a sacrifice to the gods. While their meat is prepared for the feast that is to follow, the blood is sprinkled on the statues of Odin, Thor, and Freyr and the other gods, as well as on the worshippers themselves. Now for the human sacrifice. The hangman readies his rope. Europe has finished his education in the ways of faith and learning. It is evident that he has excelled in his studies. This pleases me. I believe this guy is a prisoner. Again, I have some people I would like to release, but unfortunately I don't have titles that I can give them. Oh, but I can ransom this guy. Nope, no interest. Never mind. Jarl Ingolfr is brought up from your dungeons and escorted to the temple. A noose is placed around his neck, and the rope is thrown over a sturdy branch of a nearby oak. A small yellow pool forms at Ingolfr's feet. I can say, Allfather, we offer you this sacrifice. And the traitor dies, or no, I have changed my mind. Allfather, we offer you this sacrifice. Morian is brought up from your dungeons and escorted to the temple. As a noose is placed around her neck, she steadies herself and murmurs several passages you recognize being from the Christian holy book. Where is your blessed virgin now, Morian? Yeah, this got dark all of a sudden. Oh my god, we've got more! Gudrun is brought up from your dungeons and escorted to the temple. Even as the noose is placed around her neck, Gudrun stares vacantly ahead without betraying any emotion whatsoever. It would seem that she has accepted her fate. Allfather, we offer you the sacrifice. Maud is brought up from your dungeons and escorted to the temple. As the noose is placed around her neck, she steadies herself and murmurs several passages that you recognize as being from the Christian holy book. Again, where is your blessed virgin now, Maud? Maud Flanders, oh no! Hopefully this will incentivize people to start paying to get their people out of the dungeons. Oh my god, we got 30 people in here. Are we gonna kill them all? That would be awesome if we did. We'll probably be here until like the new 9-year blot, but you did Endors. I had no idea this happened. I can't believe I haven't done this before. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry to do this, guys. This is gonna screw the VOD, especially on YouTube, but aww. With the sacrifice over, the feast at the end of the blot can now begin. The meat of the animals were sacrificed has already been prepared, and there's plenty of mead to go around. Let the celebrations begin! You move inside the large feast hall.
Wise woman said, was you hardened in battle, there's no coming back. Fight for all. And before the attack, till your blood starts to boil in your veins as you charge. As the fire inside is ignited by bloodshed, in the circus from north, will it be as was said, will the serpent be woken, Fenrir howls, Swedish pagans march in the show, forced in Valhalla with a banner of war, out from Asgard, a Viking ship sails.
Feast is over, and with it the blot. It'll be at least 9 years until you hold the next one, but as your vassals return home, most seem to agree that the ceremony was well worth the trip. Until next time. Yeah, we don't have enough people to handle this rebellion without... How the hell did they get so many? Purely event spawned. Okay. Well, I guess I can't raid forever. Well, it's possible to check, I just wasn't able to do it in a timely fashion, so... Alright, so we're gonna drop these raiders. A daughter was born. Okay. So if I disband it... Okay, so this is my retinue, so I need to put these guys on a boat. Excellent. Okay, so I've got my new... got a proper heir now. Looks like Trouble's coming back as well, so who is more likely to... Why in the world would my son want to change the tribal organization of the kingdom that he will inherit? Alright. They got a good spy master now, and she's not gonna betray me because she likes me, so... Holy crap! They love me here. I will be sure to abuse this to get even more restrictive laws. How you doing, OCS1 Spectre? Worrying reports have reached you regarding your Marshal Nicholas. He seems to have been using his soldiers to extort money from the peasantry in Selsvig. He has forfeited his office, or I will deal with this later. I will deal with this later because he is good at his job, and he, I don't like losing prestige. Being at sea for so long has made me feel ill, and it is not a matter of being seasick, mind you. I feel very tired, have constant pain in my legs, and whenever I wake up, my joints ache all over. Maybe we should head back to port. I've got scurvy. Oh my god, yeah, I gotta get out of... I gotta get back home. Oh, for God's sake. Will you people please just go for the successor I want? I've built the realm in a very specific way. Oh, you know what? I'm probably... Yeah, I'm leading this retinue. Alright, there's no point whatsoever for me staying on the sea like this, especially if it makes me sick. Diet of bread and water does not satisfy me anymore. I need something else, something delicious and filling. I have broken my fast with wine and quail, and I'm no longer temperate. Alright, so my domain is now too big. Looks like I've gained Vetis land. I suppose I could give it to this guy who's a traitor, but I will give it to his heir instead. Again, I'm calling allies that are not actually going to help me. Oh, I can bring these guys back. So yeah, we do have a problem here that we need to deal with. I think the best way is to... There we go. Basically disband these guys in friendly territory, and then we'll raise them up as a full levy. I should have about 4,000 guys when all is said and done. It does mean that we have to stop our sort of our grand tour of England. We're going to need to... Hang on, temples looted -1%? Huh. Oh, you know what? Maybe because one of my temples was looted? I don't know. I'm gonna need to think about that. But anyways, the aim is going to be to sort of raid another 6... Or basically get another 6 After being examined by my physician, he told me to take it easy during the next couple of weeks. I am also instructed to eat a special diet consisting mostly of fruit and vegetables in order to cure me of my scurvy, if you say so. So again, to be clear, the best way for me to achieve this would be to claim Zealand from Austrasia. But they are reasonably strong. So they've got non-aggression pacts with Bavaria. They've got 3,000 troops plus whatever their levies give them. So that would actually be a fair fight for us. And more importantly, of course. Alright, well. Oh no, this is nice. They're actually splitting up their units, so. We'll quickly bring up a boat. Any boat will do. Actually, yeah. It might be a bit of overkill to basically dedicate all of my forces to this, but again, you don't want to underestimate an enemy and then all of a sudden find yourself losing too many battles. So it's not too inconvenient to to amass these guys and crush the rebellion, and then we just head back. After eating plenty of different fruits and vegetables, you finally feel well. The pain is gone, and I am in a much better state. I am sure to avoid scurvy if I can eat an orange. Does anybody know what game that is a reference to? So anyways, one nice thing about this is that they've split up their army, so I'm able to kind of cut this in half, and then we'll just be back to raiding in a short period of time. Sleepbringer, long time no see. I say that every time that you're here, though. It's great to see you again, as always. How are you doing? And have you been streaming lately? I don't think I've seen you online. Mind you, I'm also in a different time zone, so that will probably account for quite a bit. Okay, so it looks like my 2,000 are heading out. Oh, so this actually is a rebellion that would have been dealt with on its own if I'd just been patient, but that's fine. I mean, we'll just have a big army ready to go and... Alright, why can I not combine you? Oh, because you've got raiders. What's tempting here now is I can probably divide my army into 4 as I rampage across England. Recognizing virtues and talents of others, that others possess is truly a virtue. I am truly blessed by having a steward that truly knows how to govern a realm. I may reward him. Doing great, haven't been streaming at all. Unfortunately, the best you can do on Twitch lately is to stop in and say hi to a few friends when possible. Well, I definitely appreciate, and I don't know how well I am at communicating it, but I actually really like the fact that you still remember this little corner of the internet. It's really nice to see you in here each time you stop by, so it's never taken for granted, and I do appreciate that you're hanging out. I hope things have been well with you. I know you're still, at least the last I talked with you, you've been studying. I hope those have been going well. Guys, for those of you who don't know, Sleepbringer used to be a team... Well, I mean, he is a former teammate. He didn't used to be a former teammate. He's a former teammate on Twitch. And is now a loyal viewer. All right. So all of these notifications I'm getting are just because they're from prisoners I have. However, they're not valuable enough for their lords to release them. So hopefully this will give me 100. Yeah, I just need to beat them in combat once. So offer peace. I think if I banish him, I don't get anything. Yeah, so we'll hang on to him for the next human sacrifice. And we've got a nice big army ready to... So, again, it's actually possible here. I could, in principle, declare war, and I actually have enough sort of weight to be able to enforce that. But again, because it is a semi-fair fight, I don't actually want to take it. It'd be nice if I could sort of take on maybe a smaller or more sickly kind of a country. Okay, so I've got 36, 45. Oh, that's not enough. So 2 18s. Navies are so difficult. So what we're going to try and do here, we'll obviously keep an eye on... Ooh, we can raid some more temples, it looks like. So maybe I'll keep like 2 guys up here and maybe 2 guys down below. Stubby slowed down because you work full-time tech support at Verizon now. You know me, every time you get questions about your channel, it's soon trademark. Well, I mean, I was talking with Jess about this, like... I think if I could make a guess, I'm going to say that most people take Twitch too seriously than too many people taking it not seriously enough. I think there are definitely a lot more things in life that are more important, and more importantly, a lot of those things in life are the sort of thing that you will eventually be able to sort of turn around and turn into either fuel for your stream or otherwise kind of give you something to talk about. So you're definitely preaching to the choir if you say that there are more important priorities. And frankly, I mean, if you're not feeling it, why push it, right? Alright, so here I'm going to call my allies again, and hopefully it's only 1700 here, so I'm pleased to hear that after a period of peace and shrewd management, the company of Salem is doing very well. People are happy and tax collectors are reporting record intakes, which is always good news for me. Again, I'm interested in seeing whether or not my my vassals are going to be able to get their act together enough to take on this rebellion. I really don't like having to bring my guys back from raiding to deal with this. I may have to, but we'll see what my guys do first. And if nothing else, I'll bring like 1 stack. I also want to see what's going on with these like negative temples looted. So the idea here is I've got 2 temples I've recently raided, and I want to see whether or not that actually that's actually sort of dragging down the numbers. I'll admit, this is the first time I've played Norse. It's quite fun. Some of the new mechanics are pretty original. Okay, so this is good. They're losing people to the siege. What should happen here is these guys should unite and clobber them. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I think these guys are just going to wind up dying. Alright, so looks like Christianity is still holding on strong in Scotland. Okay, so we've got a vassal who can be discouraged. Threaten them. Yeah, so needlessly lost them. Honored Emperor, I ask your forgiveness if I've done something to offend. I obviously wouldn't dream of associating with any faction conspiring against you and your enlightened rule. You are forgiven. It's irritating, by the way, that my son is not the heir. Oh, and he's actually fairly strong, so I should give him... Looks like I've... No, I still have my majority, so I can afford to give him a role. So he's a good steward. Ah, but I... See, the steward's actually someone I want. Okay. My chancellor... Not particularly loyal. My advisor... Okay, well I can definitely ditch this guy. Well, he's a pragmatist, though. I can't make my son a seer. And this guy isn't good enough to replace him. So yeah, sorry dude, but... Actually, let me just quickly adjust this, so... We will change council position. Do it. He'll be my steward. This guy gets the boot. So I have somebody who doesn't like me on my council now. Unsurprisingly, he's malcontent. I wonder if I can bribe him. Probably costs too much. Doesn't want non-aggression pact. Eh. There we go. Made that positive. I'm always interested in seeing if I can get vassalization from these guys. Usually the answer is no. We'll just hang out. Again, particularly interested in seeing what's happening when I take down one of these temples. I also want to be really careful about this Fraticelli uprising. It might actually be an idea to maybe move my raiders to another part of the country, just to avoid this conflict. All right, so we're up to 45. Oh, Infidel Temple. Okay, so it's my temples got looted, which meant I was down one. So the more Infidel temples we loot, the better we are, the better off we are. So back on the boat, gentlemen. Take a quick minute and bring things on. See, it was actually... Yeah, it's too much to... Okay, good. We are going to take these guys out. I was going to say, the Fraticellis are now lower, it looks like, so... Oh no, they're still there. So I definitely want to make sure that these guys... don't do anything funny. Looters have completely destroyed the city of Obar Kosain in Ros. Oh! I am Emperor Ulfir the Oppressor from this. I wonder when I got that. Oh, we've got so many people in my dungeons, but... Alright, well, nothing else I can do here. But we've got a fresh temple to loot, so We'll split the fleet. I gotta be careful about this, because if the Fraticellis decide to move north, I might be in trouble. But we'll see. Excellent. Okay, so Finnmark has finally converted to Germanic. Where is that? Wasn't the one I thought it was. Okay, so we're still struggling to convert, unfortunately. Come on, Steward. Why you gotta be like this? At least he's good at his job. And, you know, he's my son, but... I suppose I shouldn't be too invested in having my son take on this role. Like, in the end, anybody who I can play is good. The best option, of course, is when I retain all the titles. I mean, I still have this danger that I'm gonna lose. That basically Boltfer winds up taking all the good titles. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I lose a lot of the cool stuff because it isn't one of my sons inheriting. I might be tempted to off this guy. Excellent. Okay, so I can change some of the laws. So it looks like I can't change the... Okay, so I can't change the war declarations until I change some of these other ones. So I think what we'll start off with is we'll do a vote for imprisonment. Banishment would be the next. Execution is the last one because I'm not that interested in it. But basically, right now I just want to... I want to consolidate my power. And I believe I still have my majority. If I don't, I'm actually going to use favors for this, but I should have checked that beforehand, but the die is cast, so. And I have 3. So again, here's what's going to happen. I've got 3 of my guys. I've already got 1 vote for me. And so kind of by default, I have kind of the necessary votes to get the policy passed. How you doing, the you? And have a great night, this Sleepbringer. It's always good to see you here. I will try and cast at a decent hour. We've actually been doing some Dark Souls lately. All right. I was not paying attention, and I have a feeling the Fraticellis... Yep, the Fraticellis hit me. It's exactly what I was scared of doing. Where'd my guys go? So that was a big blunder, right? If you take a look, my potential troops are now substantially reduced. But we can just move in. I've got a couple temples I think we can take. I think it might make sense just to head to another part of the island that we haven't robbed yet. These guys seem relatively weak. I don't think there's any places that this is my bastard daughter, so let's go to Medieval Tender and set her up with someone nice. She's actually got a really good diplomacy trait. And this is actually good for my prestige. Young Ingridur seems to be developing a rather devious and manipulative streak. So she can become deceitful. Yeah. And I keep forgetting to appoint commanders, so let's quickly adjust that. So I've also got a level 13, so I can adjust some of these weaker commanders. Got a level 9, which I can replace with a level 12, and looks like things are balanced out now. This is a particularly good playthrough for prestige. The combined prestige and piety is almost as much as what the previous generations have gotten, so. Again, we have to hang out in this area because the Fraticellis are still causing problems for us, but I think what we're going to do once we've... Oh, hang on. Can we just not do this siege anymore? Looks like it stopped, so... We will... This is actually starting to cost us some money, so I want to make sure that we're able to keep this enterprise afloat. We will land in another part of the country. And we will test our fortunes here. My liege, I wish to intercede on behalf of one of your prisoners, Raphael of Outestland. Surely a show of mercy would please all of your vassals. This guy's 10. You can say very well, absolutely not, or how about you join him? So I want to know what happens. I'm going to say absolutely not, and I want to see what happens to other people's opinion of me, so... 70 because of tyranny. And now what does my heir think of me? Yep, those are fine. Alright. So we're back to raiding. I'm okay with this. Now let's take a look at what these guys look like. So they've got 2043. A little bit dangerous given my current... given sort of my current strength. So what I might do is I might unite these guys... I might unite them when I start taking Somerset. This will also be helpful with my my ships. But again, we'll continue the same thing. My ambition actually is to raise a war chest. So, although I think it would actually be... So I'm a little at odds as to how I should spend this money. There is a side of me that says I should be building up my infrastructure because that'll be good for sort of claiming territory and such. But because my succession has gone from being sort of a done deal to being really questionable in terms of who's going to inherit the kingdom, I think it's actually a good idea if I hold back and maybe manage, you know, kind of keep this building up this wealth so that if I do successfully implement feudalism, we'll be able to take advantage of some of this building as quickly as possible. When you say are there any battles, are you talking about kind of like a Total War style where you get to control the troops? In this case, no. The way that it would look would be peasants have risen up in Heisingland, led by disgruntled former soldiers. Rebels have the nerve to demand independence. I'm wondering if this happens more often because I've got my army running around raiding. Alright, so I don't think my guys on their own are going to be able to take on the 2,000, but I think they'll split up on their own. Again, I want to try and burn down as many of these temples as I can, because 3 more two-county raids like this, and we finally have the moral authority we need to get what we want. It's definitely a very complicated game, JS Lone Wolf. So the best thing that I can say, if you think about, so Total War has a degree of complexity in its grand strategy, but it's a little bit more. I think what it is they abstract it away a little bit so that you can focus on the battles, and the battles are very well simulated. So you have sort of individual soldiers that you can move, and when they run into conflict, they'll consider things like terrain modifiers and so on and so forth. And so the priority will be on this sort of strategic, you're the commander. So a great example here would be something like Empire Total War, where you're sort of like Charles the 12th of Sweden, who like maybe, may not have necessarily been a very good king, but he was an exceptional military commander. Now, the way that you'd think about Crusader Kings 2, it is in the end a grand strategy game, so there is going to be a military component to it. And right now I'm playing sort of this Germanic culture. We began, to give you an idea of how wild this game can get, we began as a count of here, and we have since founded Scandinavia. So, as you can see, there's we're about 150 years worth of gameplay, I think, maybe 200 coming up. So certainly, we haven't been idle, and combat is a very important part of the game. But what I would say is that the attention that Total War gives to combat is sort of I think maybe the attention that Crusader Kings gives to politics. This game's very much about the relation between the vassal and their lord. And so I'm in a fairly good spot right now where I have a council that respects me, but I'm playing with all the DLC for the game except one known as what is it, Sunset Rebellion? That doesn't sound right. Anyways, it's not worth remembering. But in this case here, I have things like a council that may not necessarily want to implement the sort of policies that I decide to do. And so again, if you're interested, I'd say if you're interested in things that are sort of role-playing oriented, or if you're sort of interested in sort of the political aspects of Total War, if you thought that maybe those could be fleshed out, Crusader Kings is definitely a really interesting title to play. But I also know that a lot of people who are attracted to Total War for the battles maybe find that Crusader Kings is a step too far in the direction. Thank you, Noshi. Sunset Invasion. But again, I mean, it's not my intention to misrepresent the game. I think it's, it's different things to different people. For my own background, I have a degree in economics, and my research, at least until I got this job, largely focused on political economy. So this stuff is, this is my bread and butter. I love this stuff. And actually, it's kind of funny. One of my advisors sort of wrote a really interesting paper on how power is shared in Africa. And I don't know if this is just because because I studied under him, that I'm sort of implementing some of these things that I read in this paper, or if it's just a natural way that sort of autocrats wind up kind of running things. But I've noticed like a lot of those studies, one way or another, kind of keep coming up, which I think is kind of fun. So it's a game-wrecking add-on. See, I guess the big one for me is I don't see the major benefit to... This guy's still a problem, huh? I guess I don't see the major benefit to this. I mean, alternate history is definitely a fun element of these games. Like, obviously, the counterfactual of, well, what would it have looked like if maybe the, Charles Martel didn't stop, Arab incursions into Francia. In this case, it's seeming like pagan religions won't be stomped out, but rather will be reformed and ultimately become something that sort of stands on its own. These are all sort of fun little questions to play around with, but this idea of an Aztec invasion of Europe is maybe a bit of a bridge too far. And to me, like, nobody likes having their character die, right? Like, where Reaper's Due will maybe give you, some diseases to deal with. Speaking of which, let's take a look and see how that's going. Oh, nice, consumption. Yeah, so we got out of the wrong parts of England. in time. Looks like it's a fairly healthy world right now, actually. Or, you know, like, I know a lot of people don't like Conclave because all of a sudden the council doesn't just roll over and do everything that you want. But, like, to me, this is interesting. Like, this is kind of fun to deal with. And even Horse Lords, right? Like, you need to deal with something like a Mongol invasion. But at least here, you're adding a whole lot of other sort of mechanics in the game, so that if you want to play the Mongols, then, you know, you're going to have a great time. But if you have to... I don't know, if you have to just sit there and take... Like, you can't play the Aztecs in Sunset Invasion, so... I don't know, I think I mean, I think even Paradox has said that this is one of the things that maybe you don't need to play to complete your collection, but... Anyways, I never felt the need to buy it, and even when it goes on sale. It's the only one I don't pick up, so... Alright, the mere sight of Jarl Chilmund fills you with contempt. Challenge the Kerr to Holmgang, single combat duel to finally settle your differences once and for all. So I'm a vicious Viking with a combat of 11. He's 8, and he's my son. I might actually wind up killing the guy who I want to inherit the kingdom. The Aztecs just couldn't be stopped. Okay, yeah, so I mean, if it's like, okay, congratulations, the game is ending a little bit earlier than you thought, then, you know, that's another reason for me not to check it out, so... Hey, Foxu! Yeah, I'm streaming a little bit later than I normally do as well. I think I'll probably have to cut it at midnight at the latest. We'll see what happens. Yeah, let's issue the challenge and see what happens. Ooh, he sends word that he accepts my challenge. 1 week from now, the two of you shall meet in combat. There's no turning back at this point. Shall count the days. I could make myself, it is dawn when you meet Jarl Chilmund on a small islet chosen for the Holmgang. Surrounded by witnesses, you grab your shield and axe while your opponent does the same. After hurling insults at each other for a few minutes, the battle is finally joined. I really made a decision, I made a very poor decision here. One, because my character will probably die here, but also because I would have wound up killing my son, actually, if I did that, so. Anyway, we will, I guess we're gonna live with our decision? Oh god, my chances of winning are poor. I don't want to die. Yeah, so this is a big mistake, actually, because if this guy's really great to play, and anyone who inherits the kingdom is not going to... Like, either I lose my son, or I lose me, and the kingdom breaks up. So, this is a bit of a